Right, so I suppose I better get my aeroplane sorted out. Oh, that's the plan anyway. Can get the flight plan programmed in. Right.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, how are you?
Right, thank you. So I have one question. The transmitter is working, but once in a while the plane is disappearing.
Oh, that's Little Nav Map. Your own aeroplane is disappearing.
Yes.
Yeah, go to in Little Nav Map. Go to the Tools menu and Options and Online Flying. Okay, have you found that? Basically, above the bit in online flying where you set the URL of the data feed, there is a checkbox now in Little Nav Map to remove duplicate aircraft. Untick it. And it will fix the issue of the disappearing aeroplanes.
I've just done it myself.
Yeah, it's basically trying to be too clever and figuring out that your yellow aeroplane and your red one from transmitter are the same thing. So it keeps cancelling out the red one.
Every day is a school day.
I'm just feeling like a complete Burke looking at the Seminole, and I can't remember where the starter switch is.
I haven't got that one, I can't help you.
Not above your head, is it?
No. I'm being an absolute idiot here. Radio master switch. That's the magnet. Oh, hey, I'm being an idiot. Right, I need to go and check the volumes.
I think I'll get the Cabra's Grand Caravan out.
Yeah, but you'll be the only one that sees it.
Nah, I might go for the default. Reading VirtualFlight.Online one.
Going to France, I thought I'd honour it with a French accent. circuits to get my hands back in there.
So someone on the live stream's asking what graphics card I have. It's an NVIDIA 3080. I'm actually putting quite a burden on it because locally here in the room I'm running at 4K, but then I'm downrating it to 1080p to go out to the internet. So I'm actually seeing at 4 times higher resolution than I'm broadcasting.
Lost me.
Well, my screen in front of me is 4 times as many pixels as that are going out to YouTube.
Oh, right.
If I ran it on a 1080p screen here, I'd have so much like headroom on the processing. It would be funny. It would never drop any frames. EGMD.
Good evening, people.
Hiya.
USB 258 for a radio check.
Yep, loud and clear.
Thank you.
LFIS. LFWA. LFAT. LFOI. LFAE. LFAB. LFOP. I'm going to take off and go and circuit the airfield, waiting for people to arrive. Just check my controls before I do that.
Good evening.
Evening.
What sort of time are we using in the sim?
Whatever you want.
Fair enough.
Got about 9 o'clock in the morning.
So somebody's asking in the live stream, could we export the flight plan from Little Nav Map and load it into the sim without having to enter it? Yes, we could. We choose not to, because that encourages people to actually learn how things work rather than be given everything on a plate all the time. That said, I have uploaded the flight plan to the Discord server.
Yeah, I made my own plan up. You're just using the coordinates.
Yeah, that's half the fun, isn't it?
Yeah. And yeah, so
Good morning from 8:40 a.m. 23rd of the 1st, 2023.
Hello, the future.
And it's a beautiful morning here today.
I'm going to go into the settings and remove all the ground traffic.
Good evening. Voice check, please.
Yes, we can hear you.
very loud.
I'll turn it down a bit. Thank you.
Good evening, brothers.
Evening, Lee.
Hi.
Yeah.
We're a few on here and it's still 20 odd minutes to go.
Keen to go.
Well, nothing better to do, like me.
Alright, yeah, you got me.
I'm going to be able to put some hours in this week. I'm home alone for a week.
I'm pressing the wrong button. Up to no good then.
Can somebody say something on Discord for a moment, just so I can get the volume levels right?
Hi John, how you doing?
I'm good, Lee, thank you.
Mary had a little lamb. She also had a bear.
That's enough of that.
It was quick then, you sorted it.
Yeah. I was too close to my microphone, but it's good now. It's always a job to get a balance between the simulator, Discord, me, and all the final output.
What's the active for this evening?
I don't know. Yeah, 12 knots from the southeast on the wind, so according to the live weather anyway.
Runway 21.
I did wonder how many Spitfires were going to turn up, seeing as we're crossing the channel.
Enjoyed your video on the GN 530, Jonathan. Very helpful, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. The funny thing is,
I've
I learn as much making them as the people that then watch them afterwards.
Yeah, I've been flying the little RV7A quite a bit lately, and I'm enjoying it actually. For a free one, it's really good.
Same here, Dave. It's a great plane.
I still like my caravan for these group flights.
Sorry, I meant Alice.
Yeah, the caravan is it's predictable, isn't it?
It's forgiving, really. It's very versatile.
Sounds like blue.
That's what I'm flying. The caravan.
Flying the steam gauge version or the stock model?
You know, I never looked. I just saw Grand Caravan and clicked on it. I have got both, but
I've got both too, Dave.
I just clicked on it to some of the fly. Right, it's the glass version, obviously, so there's the dials in it.
Quite like the steam gauges. I'm getting more used to them now. It's good.
all.
Good
Good
evening.
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 See Peter's there. Thank you for the flight today, Peter.
I think he said his microphone is broken on the live stream chat, so he is here, but he can't
I
respond.
can see he's here.
God, I'm working on an event, but it won't be for up and running probably for 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay, don't worry. I thought next week we might do a VOR type thing like we did once before, like navigating between VOR stations.
Oh, that was good fun. Yeah, let's do that.
That was fun.
I'm taking you deep into the Rouen Valley.
Oh. Is this a dam buster mission?
Ah, could be.
Air cruise.
I'm working on one. We're going to do a mail run in Tasmania. Out of the way grass strips everywhere.
Well, it's nice to be back at Lydd. This is a place where I've visited many times in the real world. In fact, done a fair bit of instrument training here because they've got an ILS, and unusually for most ILS-equipped airfields, they're actually very, very quiet. So you can get loads of unimpeded instrument training in. Good place.
Yeah, this was one of the airfields on my cross-country solo.
It's a good one to visit. They've got a very big cafe, which is usually empty, strangely.
Yeah, I went Shoreham, Southend, Lydd, back to Shoreham.
Do they have a great big river kind of next to the terminal?
I don't think so. Not a river particularly. It's not a big one anyway. You might be thinking of Shoreham.
Yeah, you got the
No,
River
I can
Ada at Shoreham.
No, it's on the flight simulator terrain I've got here. I've got like a river that goes through the airport.
That's not correct.
Yeah, you got the Denge Marsh sewer, I believe, runs near here.
Sounds nice.
Right, we've got 5 minutes to go.
Good evening, chaps. Tango Theo Radio Check.
Hearing you loud and clear.
Evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
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 Yep.
Greetings.
Hello.
If everybody wants to get airborne, then it'll make it a bit quicker to get started on that first leg, won't it?
Yeah.
Going.
In a couple of minutes. I'm just getting everybody in the air first.
Real world weather's interesting. Got a nice little crosswind from the left on 03, and of course cloud at 2,000 feet and a temperature of 2 degrees, which means we should get some ice if you go into that cloud, which is quite fun.
Radio check, please.
Yep, can hear you loud and clear.
Thank you.
Important to keep aileron into wind on takeoff, into the crosswind, to avoid getting blown around too much.
Well, I guess I'll do the talky bit that I usually do. So welcome to VirtualFlight.Online for anybody new. We do this every week, or we try at least to do this every week. So somebody will put a flight plan forward usually, and we all fly it together. Just relaxed conversation along the way, no strict rules as such. The only real rules we have about if you are on the voice channel is that all conversation must remain family friendly. That kind of keeps a lid on the idiocy that you will see maybe at the Microsoft official Discord server or anything like that. Yeah, so we're all aviation nerds at the end of the day, so anything to do with aeroplanes, you'll have everybody's ears immediately. Otherwise, yeah, we try and follow the route about 120 knots or so. If you do find yourself getting ahead of the pack, consider either flying an orbit or doing a circuit at the next airfield or something like that. We will stop at the halfway point this evening for a 5 or 10 minute break, which is Paris-Plage, I think. It's marked on the notes, so we'll see how we get on. Otherwise, we should finish the flight inside a couple of hours. So don't worry about dropping out or, coming back on later on during the flight. It's all, there's no strict rules, as I said, so have fun.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Yep, thanks.
First leg, 43 degrees, 18 miles up to the Channel Gliding Club, Echo Golf Delta Hotel. So, yeah, 43 degrees.
No.
Evening, Lyndon. This is interesting. I'm flying the Seminole tonight, and it will happily cruise 50% throttle at about 130 knots. So I'm having to play with the propeller speed to get it back to 120.
So you mean the speed won't decrease even if you put your throttles further back?
Well, if I go further back, a klaxon goes off because I haven't got the undercarriage down.
Okay, yeah. Maybe if you put one stage of flaps.
I was thinking that, so I'm just trying it to see if it will do 120 happily.
One stage of flaps or gear down.
Yeah, I'll just fly. I've just reduced the propeller speed, and that's handled it, to be honest. It's just happier going faster.
Is that the Coronado version that you had on
Yeah.
YouTube?
Yeah. I did think about flying a Spitfire tonight, but then that idles at 250 knots, so it wouldn't have been much fun.
Do circles all the time.
I'm in the Spit, I'm just doing circles.
I can see you high above, whizzing around in circles.
The Seminole sounds great, though, doesn't it?
Mm. Yeah, they really have done a job with the engine sounds.
I'm using the latest version of the Coronado Mooney, and it's quite an improvement over the last one, actually.
Yep.
It seems very good. And the best thing about it is it's got the better GTN 750 integrated into the panel now.
Yep.
Which is brilliant.
Is that without a separate purchase? Because you can.
No, you have to buy the GTN 750, but it does integrate into the panel now.
Okay, yeah. Aren't there different versions of the 750? There's one simpler version and one more advanced.
Correct. Yes, there are. There's one which is very, very realistic. There's PDS or PMS, I forget which one, because they've both got very similar names. And the other one which isn't so realistic at all. But up until now, it was only the latter that I could get in the Mooney, whereas I can get the best one in it now, which is cool.
And who was the provider?
Oh, it's is it PDS or PMS?
PMS.
PMS.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, the PMS GTN 750. There's a free version, and then you can pay to unlock further features within it.
That's not the one that's the better one, I don't think.
The other one is the one that's more study level. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the other one is the one that uses the actual software from Garmin.
Yeah.
So it behaves in the same way.
I'm using the free version right now in the GB. There's an add-on for that to plug it in.
Yeah, the free version's quite good, and it's well worth having. But it's not exactly the same as the real thing.
Yeah, and I suppose if you're using it to practice procedures, you want it to be the same.
Absolutely. Yeah. I've now got my Mooney panel looking exactly the same as my real-world Robin. So I can practice procedures, as you say.
Except it's one day you're going to go to do something in the real plane, and you'll suddenly frown and say, "It doesn't do it like that at home."
Yeah.
Reboot it while you're flying.
Yeah, well, as long as I don't crash.
On about rebooting things, I was watching that video about Apollo that I shared on Discord about the computers. I thought it was fascinating that because all of the programs and everything was stored in hardware, essentially, whenever they power it up, there was no boot up, it just started working instantly. And that's what happened with Skylab. So obviously it was stuck in orbit for months, but when they did finally power it up, it just carried on without missing a beat.
Yeah, incredible technology. 1960s.
So we just passed over Folkestone.
O3 preferred for touch and go.
Yep.
On the left we have the Channel Tunnel Terminal, which is a huge docking area, well worth looking at. And there's some hill art just on the hill just above it.
Right, starting to look for the airfield.
I think it's a green strip and a brown field.
Must be quite exciting, gliding across the channel, get enough height, etc.
Or looking at the weather every morning to see if it will suit doing it.
Just passing the propeller memorial on the cliff top here at Folkestone to the pilots of the Second World War.
Screening my screen. Look at all the boats I got.
Kind of on finals at the moment.
Wonder if I passed the field already.
If you can see the multiplayer aircraft, there's a whole load of them going along a
Spotted it.
grass strip.
Yeah, they're behind me.
Typical though, there's a low row of trees right in front of the runway.
So what else is new?
Oh, that was a high touch and go.
Looking at gliding across the channel, a friend of mine, John Vallee, was flying across one day in his glider and he saw a yacht coming towards him with its smoker up. so we had to land in a parking lot at the supermarket in Calais.
Cracky.
Yeah. In real life, if you would fly over the channel like in a 172, what safe altitude should you have?
Well, that's a tricky one.
I did it
4,000, 6,000 maybe.
Yeah, we used to go over in essence the 172. I think 5,000 going over and 6,000 coming back, something like that.
Yeah.
Your engine doesn't know it's flying over water.
That's true.
Some would beg to differ.
Presumably you just go to the highest VFR altitude you can get before you go into the flight levels.
Yeah, you can do, sure.
Yeah,
although most
you can do
people don't tend to worry too much about it, to be honest. It's only 20 miles and you can probably glide over from about 4,000 feet up if you're halfway.
I think you have to put it on your flight plan as well, don't you, Dave, if I remember correctly?
Yes, yes.
Okay, next leg, 134 degrees, 25 miles to Les Deux Caps. Now I'm behind everybody. I'll let this thing stretch its legs a bit.
Oh, the cliffs here are great.
Yeah, the cliffs of Dover were part of the UK update because they're kind of iconic because of the pilots coming home in the Second World War.
I was very happy to see him when I flew over the channel in the microlight. At one point all we could see is water and start praying.
It's always quite an emotional thing when you go across the channel on a ferry as well and you look back and the white cliffs are receding away. It's a very emotional thing.
I came into Dover on my brother's boat, and so the harbour master made us wait at the entrance for the ferry to come in first, and he was about 10 miles away. And we had to go around in circles, and the bloody chop outside the harbour was awful.
The scenery of Dover Castle isn't very good. It looks like it got an office block in the middle of it.
Dover wouldn't like to admit there's a castle there. Massive labels, so
for all people, 2022, this is Slave, or to 2022.
Who was that?
never heard a word.
What was that the 8 is?
I don't know. I'm looking at the list of people to potentially ban somebody there.
Don't ban me. That's because I'm a bit late.
How you doing?
I'm alright. Still struggling a bit, but I'm alright.
Yeah, we have been in our house. We've all been coughing like lunatics all week.
It won't go away.
It won't.
Got any antibiotics?
I've done them, finished them.
Oh, right.
It is a bit better, but it just won't shift completely.
Yeah, sorry to hear that. I hope you get better soon.
Very kind, thank you. As I say, it's not debilitating now. Before it was kind of flu and then this horrible hacking cough. I've just got the cough, which is not quite as bad. Oh, a couple of weeks ago I could barely talk.
That's your bronchitis, maybe?
Possibly. The doctor just said I had an infection. Bit of a rattle in one lung. So take these jolly solve it all antibiotics.
Yeah, it seems to be everybody's caught it then.
Yeah. It's probably
You need some sunshine, guys.
Yeah, well we had sunshine, it's just -2, -3.
We're basking in 26, 27,
Oh,
just
shut
nice.
up. Well, we barely got above freezing. I think it might have got up to 3 degrees, +3. And I think it's going to go down to -5 again tonight. Oh, it's already -3.
Same here in the night.
Of course, over your eastern side is much colder, isn't it? We got it quite warm in Cornwall.
Yeah, we're made of steel though over here.
Made of sterner stuff.
Yeah.
Or are we in the Netherlands?
We're about to cross over into the north of France.
Evening, Pat.
Hi Lee, nice aeroplane.
Thanks, buddy. Sorry you haven't been well. I hope you feel better soon.
Yeah, like I say, some days I think I'm getting better, and other days it just won't shift. Like yesterday I felt roughish at work, but I had to drag myself in. But we had a little bit of a get-together on... Oh, sorry, what day was it? Thursday, with all my ex-manager colleagues. I think there were 11 of us, can't remember. I know there were only 3 who weren't there.
Looking at the photographs, it looked if you all enjoyed yourselves.
Yeah, I had 1 pint of shandy.
Is that all?
Yeah, I was working the next day. I nearly didn't go, and I blew out a curry on the Friday before. 4 of us were supposed to go for curry. These are the guys I play golf with. All meant to go for curry, and I blew that out. And made a special effort. And I didn't think I'd stay all night. I thought I'd be back for Fabio's flight, or some of it. But had to stop and get petrol on the way, and gone 10 o'clock by the time I got home. So how did the boy do?
He did very well. Made a few errors, but mainly...
And a recent 6-0 for 2022 Rouen to Boston, with prices up to 20% off. You will have an amazing weekend on Touquet.
Okay.
Kick him.
I know who it was this time.
You get him, John.
I just blocked him.
Who was it?
Patience was the name.
Oh, right.
Well, we're losing ours.
He's been banned completely and gone.
Good.
Nice.
Bad one it was, so...
I spoke too soon about this not turning into the Xbox Microsoft server, didn't I?
The moment you did.
Yeah, that doomed us. Anyway, so where's this next airfield? Just coming up to it, aren't we?
Can you give me the 4-letter thingamajig and I'll...
Lima, Foxtrot, India, Sierra. Les Deux Caps. That's probably the worst pronunciation in the universe.
Not worse than mine.
Where's Emmanuel when you want him?
So I've sprinted across the channel to get here so I can circle and watch people landing. Or approaching, I should say.
I'm going 03.
That's what the winds are looking like.
What's that Boeing twin prop?
Which one?
It looks a bit like the Electra.
Oh, the 247.
Yeah, why can't I find it?
There's also a Beach Model 18 that looks similar to the Electra.
Aha. Now, which one have I got? I think I've got that, and I've got the Boeing.
I'm flying the Beach 18. What a bird.
Right. So I've looped around the other side of the airfield. Hopefully I'll see you all on approach.
Which runway should we use?
3.
3.
Two ships below me, looks as if they're going to collide.
Have you got seafront simulations?
I've got those world ones better, I believe.
The global shipping add-on, is it?
Yeah. I think the seafront ones are too small in an area.
Oh no, they do a global shipping and an enhanced ship package as well. It's quite nice.
Both running, I'm not sure now. I haven't looked at my community folder in can't remember.
I have to say the channel's nice and calm. I'd be quite happy to be on a ferry going across to France today on that.
Hardly any wind anywhere, is there?
No, it's like a mill pond.
Well, I'm getting quite a bit of chop.
It's through 2 ferries.
I don't believe in ferries. I know you've got them at the bottom of your garden, haven't you, Dave?
It took me a while to get that one. Clunk.
Right, I've got the Beach 18. Oh, this is actually quite scary, seeing all you lot coming in.
Looks like an attack, doesn't it?
It does, and it sounds like it too. Spitfire and something else.
Oh yeah, I can see you taxiing around on the ground down there.
It's lovely how you can see England from France and vice versa on the way over. That's really nice.
Okay, so next leg, 150 degrees, 23 miles to Verchocq Airpark.
Well, I picked up a 4090 yesterday because I fly in VR, and this is the first group flight, and I've got to say I'm impressed.
Oh wow, that's really interesting news. Tell us more about it, please.
Well, I've got a 12900. I'm on TAA, clouds ultra. Everything else is high, and I've turned off the sort of rear mark option, and I've got 45 FPS, 50 FPS.
Wow, that's great.
In a G2.
Was it easy to install, or do you have any problems?
That was easy, yeah.
Did the lights in the street dim when you switched it on?
It only consumes, to be fair, it only consumes a little bit more than my 3080 Ti did.
Okay. It's funny because... So go on.
I was just going to, out of interest, how much does it consume?
I've seen, well, obviously I'm in VR quite a lot of the time, but it's been around 350 max that I've caught it.
Whereabouts do you buy it from? Was it a UK supplier you bought it from?
I think the National Grid have just disconnected him.
Sorry, it was from Box UK.
Oh, cool, yeah.
And they were discounting, it was still £1,640.
Oh.
Yeah,
ouch.
They're about 400 quid off now, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's a lot cheaper than it was.
They have come down, yeah. I've noticed Amazon are switching the prices around a little bit as well.
Well, that's definitely on my shopping list, and it may be a little while yet though.
I'm now considering swapping the reverb out for a Pico 4.
Well, I haven't heard of that one. Are they better?
It's got pancake lenses, so it's same clarity. It's a Chinese brand though.
What's the Finnish brand? That's also very well thought of.
Is it Vario Aero?
Yeah.
I think the trouble with the Vario Aero, there's no microphone or speakers involved with it, is there? You have to have a separate base station and so on with those.
Yeah, and the setup price works out around about £2,500.
I think I'll stick to the G2.
I think I'll stick to the flat screen. Buy a car for that.
I definitely stick to Xbox.
That's where I started.
Me too.
Slippery slope.
So did you install the card yourself? Do you take out the old one and put in the new one?
Yeah, there's nothing to it, is there? Just a
plug
little
in.
bit of common sense.
Is there any standardized benchmarking that you can do, like they haven't explained?
I don't know. I'm not really one for benchmarking or overclocking or anything.
It's just good to have to compare your specs with the same standard, so all the settings are the same kind of cockpit and all that.
Well, I've spent all afternoon flying out of London City, just messing around with the settings until I got to a point that I was happy with, because it's such a beast. It really taxes the CPU.
Ah, do you find that you're CPU bound now?
Yes.
So what's the answer to that? Is there a beast of a CPU as well?
Well, I've got a 1290. I mean, it's not a 1390, but it's, you know, it's only last year's generation. But I think if they optimise the sim, I think these 4090s or 4080s would be absolutely amazing.
Which runway at Verchocq, please?
06.
Thank you.
The wind is from 46 degrees, 15 knots. Well, that's from where we are. Hang on a second. 310 degrees, 1 knot. Okay, so you could use either runway. So which one do we want, 24 or 06?
Voting 2-4.
Yeah, 2-4.
Okay,
Straight.
go for 2-4 then.
I just love having a little nav map on a second monitor.
Yeah, it's handy, isn't it?
How could you live without it?
That's right.
You fly VR.
Yeah, I mean, once you've got it on a second monitor, you would never ever have it any other way. You can have it full screen, can't you?
Oh, good.
Isn't there a way to get the nav map into the second panel, like on the G1000?
I use Sim EFB to bring little nav map in VR. It's a bit clunky, but.
Lee, see my screen?
Do you know what? That's what I'm doing. I'm just sitting there watching your stream. Very nice, mate.
Look what I'm coming up against, up behind.
I can see you're coming up behind me. Bit of formation flying, Patrick.
Well, we'll give it a go.
So after we've done the touch and go Verchocq, we're going to go on to Paris-Plage, which is over to the west, and that will be the break, the halfway break. So we'll stop there for 5 or 10 minutes.
Thanks.
The tongue's hanging out for the coffee shop.
Yeah, their coffee shop, they're all lined up with binoculars watching us.
Yeah, they've just closed it and done a runner. ELS per meg.
If anyone's wondering, the only reason I'm streaking across the countryside at 150 odd knots is to circle the airfield watching you all.
No, could you not streak though?
It's a bit breezy. The atmospheric modelling in Flight Sim is just stunning sometimes, isn't it?
Incredible.
Well, I'm getting buffeting or something. It's moving me around a bit.
Yeah, it's just this low-hanging mist everywhere. It's wonderful.
It is.
Yeah.
It's quite amazing.
Yeah, I'm getting bumped around, something shocking.
Yeah, me too.
Doesn't help that I'm only getting 9 frames per second.
Ouch.
Bring on the 4090, that's what I say.
Are you VR?
Yeah.
Doesn't that make a slow frame rate worse?
Yes, much worse, I think.
I'm following you, Lee, so hope you're on course.
Of course.
Off course was that?
I'm struggling to see the airfield with this haze.
It's superb haze, though, isn't it?
It's so good when you fly a plane that you haven't flown for a long time. Can't remember the last time I flew this BJ, it's great.
I think the last time I flew, it was the last time it was when I downloaded it.
It's really modelled well, isn't it? It's really good.
It's very, very nice. But I do that, I'll buy an aircraft and fly it for moments, really, and then forget about it.
Go back to your old favourites then, do you?
Yep, 737.
It's funny with you one about Little Nav Map a few minutes ago. I recorded a video the other day and was showing kind of the basics of a little bit of radio navigation. And in the middle of doing it, I thought, what am I doing? And I went and turned the yellow aeroplane off on Little Nav Map to force me to do it properly. Yeah, so I couldn't just cheat and see where I was.
They're driving the wrong side of the road down here. They all land the wrong way.
You have to look out the window, Jonathan.
Well, this was it. This is like half the skill, isn't it? It's looking at a map of hills and things and figuring out from what you can see out of the window and lining it up with what you see on the map. The GPS has kind of killed that.
And they need railway lines in the sim as well.
They do. That would be wonderful, wouldn't it?
Sure would.
There are some.
Most the airports where there is a train, they've got the train on it.
Yeah. I know Gatwick's got a train that actually runs.
I bet if they put the Heathrow Express in it, they'll make you they'll charge you a tenner to see it. It's probably the most expensive 5 miles of train track in the country.
That's John over. It's about 15 quid. It's now.
Where are we going now? Paris-Plage?
Hello?
Paris Beach.
Le Touquet to its friends.
It'll be me. It'll be a few minutes, yeah?
I was going to say, I think I've been there.
See you in a bit. Okay. See you in a bit.
My lasting memory of the town of Le Touquet was dog poo. Literally everywhere.
Yeah, my lasting memory was food poisoning over lunch and having to fly back afterwards.
Oh.
That's from the dog poo.
Yeah.
No, it was from a piece of tuna that had probably been in a fridge for weeks.
I had it in Calais from mussels.
Ah, yeah. The old filter feeders.
So, I'm interested to know how you managed to fly home.
With my legs crossed. I spent... We had the classic day in Le Touquet, and the wife and kids went down the beach, and I spent the afternoon in the toilet at the restaurant, and couldn't get out for several hours. And then in the end, I thought I've just got to grip my buttocks and just do the best I can, because I've got to fly these people home. So off we went, and thankfully I managed it.
No, I was actually severely unwell. Never mind having to clench buttocks. I was actually unwell on the ferry.
Oh dear.
Apparently I had turned green. That was on a BA beer run. What do they call those? Do you remember?
Booze cruise.
Booze cruise, yeah. So it was a BA booze cruise. You start off at 6 o'clock in the morning. And some of them were hitting the bottle as soon as they got on the bus.
So that's why you were unwell?
No, because I was refraining because I had to drive. I had to drive as soon as I got home.
Just stepping away for a moment. I'll be back in a tick.
Mind you, a good tip for any sort of inflammatory condition like, you know, diarrhea or anything like that is ibuprofen, because ibuprofen is anti-inflammatory, and take a few of those and it'll sort of bung you up if that's all you've got, which is what I did.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, to more pleasant subjects.
To other movements.
Oh, yeah.
A natural remedy, root ginger, is very good for settling the gut.
Nice one.
Okay, I'm back.
Lee, have you got your gear down?
Thanks, firm.
Is that intentional?
Well, we're stopping here, aren't we, for a beer?
Are we nearly there?
It's not 4 o'clock yet.
It's 4 o'clock somewhere.
9 o'clock here.
9:43 a.m. here.
It's always beer o'clock here.
Sounds good to me.
I think someone said we're stopping for some mussels here.
The river appears to be frozen.
I'm not surprised.
This weather is closing in slowly, isn't it?
It's a typical flight night, isn't it?
This is going to be full instrument conditions by the time we get any further on, I think.
Well, there's fog forecast here.
It's worth pointing out, if anybody doesn't want to use live weather, I'm going to change away to few clouds, because otherwise it makes it quite boring for anybody watching. It's great fun as a mental challenge to do instrument flight, but as a spectator sport it's quite boring.
For sure streaming, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, they won't see nothing.
No. It's a bit different, isn't it, when you're counting the miles down or checking position or measuring VOR radials or...
Or you could still be attempting to do VFR, which is quite amusing.
30 feet off the ground.
Well, it's getting about.
Yeah, the well-known definition of VFR is if it's VFR if you can see your wingtips.
Yeah.
I like that.
And of course you can always see your wingtips.
Hang on, I've got to go away again. No, it's fine. Okay, I'm going to have to sign off. I've got to go get my daughter and the car won't start, so I'm going to have to sign off for the evening. I will see you all again. See you all again soon.
Yeah, thanks a lot, John.
Thanks, John.